to Fridays with Foster. I am your host, Foster McCarl. First, the weather's not really turning, but the baristas have informed me that I have run through pretty much every warm drink they've got. So now we actually have this is a sweet cream iced coffee. We'll see how it goes. Pretty good. I think I waited too long because I think it got a little bit watered down. But then again, I'm used to having strong coffee without water in it, so I guess it automatically becomes a little bit of an Americano with the extra water in it. But it's good, just not quite as strong as I'm used to. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, today we're going to talk about negative self-talk. Now, some people might be watching this, they're already rolling their eyes going, oh, this is a motivational video. No, that's not what this is. What this is that there are certain things that we have, stories maybe even that we've told ourselves, untruths that we've told ourselves, and things that we usually will, say to ourselves many, many times throughout the day. At a certain point in our lives, we were able to maybe use these things for motivation. There's a possibility that maybe we had a coach in sports or a teacher or a parent or a friend or a boss that would say these things to us at a fairly impressionable time in our lives, like, you never get things right. Why can't you be like so-and-so, be it your brother or your sister or whomever they might be talking about, the star pitcher, or in my case, as somebody on the football team, I wasn't the biggest, I wasn't the fastest. I did have a fairly good amount of disregard for my own body, so that was very helpful being a linebacker, but a 5'9", 145-pound linebacker wasn't much to be dealt with. So, we take these ideas that are presented to us and we own them. And years later, we continue to use a lot of these stories to talk about who we are today. So, got a book. It's a workbook. This is a wonderful book by Michael Lozier. This is The Law of Attraction. And this came out, as far as I know, before the other Law of Attraction, maybe even before The Secret. I don't know. Regardless, there's nothing wrong with those other ones, but Michael's a friend. I like him. He's a good guy. And I really like this book because it's actually a workbook. So people that don't want some idea of, let's just feel good about ourselves and let's just say nice things and let's be positive. Positive thinking. No, PMA. Where I grew up with that. Positive mental attitude. God bless you, Mom. She always used to say that. Positive mental attitude. Sometimes that was a challenge for me. But what I didn't really have was a framework. I had the love and support of my parents, which was great. I didn't have a framework. What this has allowed me to do, this book allows me to use the workbook to look at the things that I specifically say to myself. What are these thoughts? What are these things? Some of them truths, some of them lies, most of them criticisms that I would say to myself. I used to be my own worst enemy. The last place in the world I wanted to be was alone, because that meant that I was sitting with the enemy, behind enemy lines in my head, if you will. There was a time when some of the things that I would say to myself would be very motivating. They would get me to do things. They would get me to push past my limits. Come on, we can work harder. We can work faster. Don't be so weak, etc., etc. But eventually, I think with some age, I realized that I don't really need that. What I need to do is I need to pause oftentimes and take a look at the situation as a whole, not just beat myself into submission. And so what I want as a result of this Fridays with Foster, what I really want you to do is I just want you to start with the very first step, which is awareness. Be aware of what you say to yourself in your head. A lot of times, once I key into the things that I'm saying to myself in my head, I realized that if somebody else said these things to me, I'd probably punch them in the face. I definitely wouldn't hang out with them all day and eat every meal with them, right? Whenever I would challenge myself. And I used to say some really just negative stuff about, at the very least, how I could do things better. I didn't do this right. I made a mistake. And these types of things, they just kept me under a hold of negativity. And I believe that we can find a lot of freedom, especially in our business, when we practice and the idea of abundance and positivity. There's a wonderful quote by J.D. Salinger that says, "I want to be a reverse paranoiac. I'd like to think that everybody in the world is out to do me well, including myself. So if I'm going out there with a positive attitude, I'm taking specific steps of awareness in how I'm treating myself, what I'm saying in different situations, and actually constructing different messaging to be positive when I'm going in for a sale, whenever I've got a strategic planning session with the rest of my team. How do I go at these conversations and these situations in a really positive way?" The first thing you have to do is you have to have the right mindset. So, be kind to yourself. You're the only person that you're with 24/7. And just remember that you are listening to what you say. And you're listening to what you think. So, remember, life is too short to drink bad coffee.